I'm fucking exhausted. I've been home for less than 24 hours, but let's get into Zenkaikon. And also, let's see if I can remember where the hell I am in Bard's Tale 4 Director's Cut. Well, I apparently solved the puzzle based on that music jingle. Alright, so, Zenkaikon, Lancaster, Pennsylvania. I wasn't necessarily planning on going to this, but, like, I knew that Casey and Kira would be going to it, but I didn't realize until not too long before the convention happened that, I would be going to it as well. And more on that later. So, I ended up packing up and prepping to go out to Lancaster.
Well, you know best.
Hold on, I want to check something about my equipment before I get into that. Okay, I think that should work. Yes, okay. So I pack up and start heading out to Lancaster. I'm driving as usual. And I'm taking a route that takes me through, well, obviously into Pennsylvania, but down into West Virginia and Maryland, and then I come back up into Pennsylvania and end up at the con. So, I'm driving, and driving, and driving, and driving, and driving. And because I'm going through West Virginia, Maryland, and Pennsylvania, I'm hitting a lot of the Appalachian mountain ranges. So, roads are going up, going down, winding all around. And, well, it's not a boring drive. But if you get car sick easily, it can wear on you. And that brings us to about 10 p.m. at night, maybe a little after. And, well, I might as well get into this thing. It's kind of what I mentioned leading up to this stream. I am on a 2-lane portion of I-68 going east into Maryland. It's just me and a semi with a trailer on the road. I'm going about 70. This semi is not going as fast as me, so I'm trying to pass it on the left. And then, sorry for my lack of artistic skills. This happens. I'm trying to pass on the left, and the semi, without signaling, starts moving into my lane. I lay on the horn, I hit the brakes, trying to get out of the way of it. And there's not a huge amount of shoulder to work with. I do move over a little bit, but it doesn't help that much. The back end of the trailer ends up hitting the front passenger end, of my car. That causes me to start spinning to the left. Now, I move against the spin and do end up stopping the spin. However, the road we're on is curving to the left. So instead of just ending up going straight down the road, I end up going into the guardrail, hitting the passenger side front into the guardrail. The truck does not stop, and I am just left on the side of the highway. There were no other people on the highway, which on the one hand I'm thankful for because it means there was no one else that I could have ended up pinballing into, but that also means there were no witnesses. So who knows if anything's going to happen with that. I did call the police, file an insurance report, and honestly don't know if anything is going to come of it. And this was the result. All things considered, not too bad. You can see in this shot, that is where I impacted the guardrail. You can tell from the front that things are a little misaligned. This is the area that got hit the hardest. You can actually see down into the internals of the vehicle. And I managed to get the vehicle off of the guardrail. I had to go into reverse to do so. And there was a rest stop about, say, between a quarter mile and half mile away. I was able to drive the car to that, so I knew at that point that the car could still move. Pulled into the rest stop, basically called a bunch of people telling them what happened and that I was okay. Somehow the airbags did not end up going off. Probably because of the location of the impact. I'm guessing. I don't really know. But, my insurance tells me, well, AAA, because I'm a AAA member, they told me that they could tow the car 100 miles, and then it would be $7 for every additional mile beyond that. Now at this point, I'm a little over halfway to where I was trying to go. But I was still a little over 200 miles out. So, if I tried getting that tow, I would still be paying hundreds, close to $1,000 for a tow in either direction. And I also messaged my wife, who works on cars, and she looks at all the photos that I sent her and says, well, the only internal thing I noticed that's damaged, aside from, like, the turn signal on that right side, is the container that holds wiper fluid is damaged. And aside from that, the other, like, more important internals seem to be intact. And I checked, there wasn't anything leaking beneath the car. So I end up saying, fuck it, I'm going to keep driving. And that's what I do. I keep driving, and, like, the one thing I notice that's different about the car is, when I make too hard of a right turn, I can hear, like, a creaking noise and feel a creaking, which I assumed is the wheel well and the tire making oh. My wife just said that. Tire rubbing against the trim. Oh, the trim, not the rim. So I'm driving now, still heading toward the event, and things are going okay. And then the road gets really heavy. And then the road gets really hilly, and it starts snowing. I don't know what it is about this part of Pennsylvania that I was driving through when this happened. But anytime I drive through there, awful weather always seems to follow me. So it's snowing pretty bad. Like, even if I weren't driving a car that had just been in a big accident, I would still be driving pretty damn slow. But I continue forging ahead, H2O Masked Man subs in the middle of the drive. Pennsylvania, yeah, makes sense. Yeah, it always happens in Pennsylvania. Oh, we have another live diagnosis from my wife. The high beam is out, the wires were literally pulled out of the plug. Fantastic. But I keep going, and eventually I make it there. I don't know how I finally made it there, but I made it there.
Yep. Am I supposed to be doing something?
Are there any signs advertising free kittens? Oh god, that's a whole other story in itself. No, Halifax, no. Whew. So I end up making it there around 2:30 in the morning. And, oh god, do I not have trow squeezins? Alright, we're reloading the fight. I cannot go into this without the cheap stuff.
Aye.
Crafting. There, we're good. I get in around 2:30. I'm not sure where to park. And, Casey and Kira, who were filled in about this. Oh, thanks for hanging out, Halifax. So they were filled in. They wind up meeting me outside the hotel. I basically pulled up to the front of the hotel because I wasn't sure where exactly to go.
Not impossible.
And then they got into the car, so they were able to see the damage to it. And they were just really glad that I was okay, first and foremost. And they eventually guided me to a parking garage. There were 2 parking garages that were close to / connected to the hotel or the event space. The first one was completely closed, so it was presumably full. I didn't know what to expect attendance-wise from this event, but apparently attendance was pretty good. There were reports that they were expecting 7,000, maybe more attendees. I don't know what the final count was. But anyway.
Ready? I suppose.
So we eventually get my stuff out of the car, wander through the hotel, and I start to see what the inside of the place looks like, and doesn't quite look like any event space I've went to, in that there's like this brick facade that takes up like one of the more prominent portions of the event space. And I've just never seen that for event spaces for events like these. I also never saw... So, we passed by the front desk of the lobby on the way to the elevators leading up to the room, which, by the way, they were on the very top floor of the hotel, which made getting to the event space a little harder.
Yeah?
So, we're walking past the lobby's front desk, and I see, oh, they have cardboard standees up for their favorite anime characters. And by favorite anime characters, I mean Padme from the Star Wars prequels and Elvis. Not even like Bubba Hotep Elvis, just Elvis.
Ready?
But, I mean, at that point, all of us are exhausted from travel for different reasons. I do end up, like, playing video games for just a little bit to wind down, but other than that, it's mostly just us crashing until we have stuff to do on Friday. So, Friday comes, and... oh god, what was I going to do?
Ready?
Uh-huh.
Oh yeah, we're going to work this up. Get those stacks of poison going. I don't know how you poison basically a statue, but you can do that in this game. So Friday comes and now I should note that when Casey first got to the hotel room, one of the first things they tried to do was hook up a PS2 to the TV. But hotels are being major assholes about letting people do stuff like this. So they tried hooking up the TV, and somehow that caused the volume on the TV to go to 100 and just blast the PS2 startup noise through the entire floor they were on. But through some finagling, they did eventually find a way to get the TV to a manageable volume and to display the PS2. Which was fucking great, because we wound up going back to that several times throughout the weekend. However, to make sure that it worked, we basically never turned the TV off. Because if we did, we'd have to go through the whole song and dance again, and then possibly risk making everyone go deaf again. So, the time comes when opening ceremonies are going to start up. And, thing about opening ceremonies is they want all of the guests to come down and...
I don't know what the hell he's thinking. I don't know what the hell he's thinking. I don't know what the hell he's thinking.
Thank you, One for the raid with a party of 2. Crush Trap. Oh, is that what you're calling Game Boy Advance Night Trap now? I mean, it's fitting. But I'm guessing, given the format that it has on the GBA, that did not take very long to get through. Alright, well, I already went through the car accident stuff, so that's in the rearview mirror, pun intended. But if you need a reminder, that's what happened. So, I've been having Denny repeat his first kill like 15 times. Wow.
On your word, away I go. Yes? On your word.
Yep.
Yes? What should I do?
Tell me. Ancestors, give me strength.
So the time for opening ceremonies comes, and they want all of the guests to make a brief appearance for the main stage for that. So, before... EO Raptor Stream Zone with the Prime subscription, 45 months. Fucking hell. Whew. Where was I? Alright, they want all the guests to make an appearance on the main stage for this. Before that happens, they have everybody gather in the green room. And that's where I see a bunch of the guests. Or, oh, don't apologize. There is no need to apologize for being generous.
Aye?
So, the green room is where I see a bunch of the guests for the first time, and I'm realizing the enemy's animations just died. And that's where we see a bunch of... And that's where we end up seeing people like Sungwon Cho, who was also there. Now, the significance of... By the way, that's Pro ZD, for those who don't recognize the name. And number one, his voice... Wow, what the fuck was I going to say? Number one, his voice really is that deep in person. It's not just some weird video thing. He actually sounds like that. Number two, part of the reason he was there is his voice work, which I learned going over his IMDb that he was in, I think it was Apotheon, which is a game I played ages ago and really liked, and just never realized he voiced someone in. But more prominently, he voiced Senshi in Dungeon Meshi, which Casey also voiced in as Chillchuck. And the significance of that is, Casey and Sungwon have never met before. So this brief interaction of them in the green room, just saying hi to each other, was the first time they had ever spoken. Like, to each other or with each other. Because all their dialogue for that show was just recorded separately. And, I
Ready.
feel like I'm forgetting something.
Ready.
Hang on.
Speak.
There it is.
Yeah?
Feeling good.
Oh god, he summoned monototems.
These nasty.
Oh, this is a caster. Fuck.
Yes?
What should I do? Speak.
Here.
Alright, my notes keep cycling through to later points, so I keep losing my place. So, for the opening ceremony... No, wait, shit. Damn it, before that. So, apparently word got out about what happened to me. So, for some of the guests in that room, I wound up talking with them. Because I wound up explaining how the car accident happened, like 3 or 4 times to 3 or 4 different people. And, I can't remember if Sungwon was one of them. But I know that we had some incredibly brief interaction. Anyway, that's also where I met the quote-unquote handler for Casey, which was weird because usually that's the kind of role I have, but for some reason the con insisted on assigning someone else to basically do the same job. But, I mean, he seemed like an alright guy. So we just tried to make it work as best he could. There were some points where he just wasn't doing anything.
Aye.
And I mean, I don't know what to say about that. I mean, we told them we had it covered, and then they just sent someone in there anyway, so whatever. But we meet up in the green room, and then they have everybody come down as like a couple separate groups because there are only 3 elevators to head to the main event space and do the intros. we all pile into this elevator, and a few attendees wind up in the elevator as well. Because we're going down like 12.5 floors to get to the main space. And it stops a couple times, a couple of attendees get on, and one of them is a Marcel cosplayer. Marcel being a Dungeon Meshi character. Casey, being the little trickster that they are, start doing like a pseudo Chilchuck voice behind them. And the Marcel cosplayer just kind of laughs, but they don't catch on that that is Chilchuck's English VA right behind them, trying to get them to react. This person, you know what, I'll save that for later, because this does have a payoff for later. So we are at the opening ceremony. We're backstage, which is where I finally get a badge. I was just kind of sticking close to Casey and Kira to make sure Staffer wasn't like, "Who the fuck are you? Get out." So we're backstage. They're going through like the opening ceremony, getting to the introductions part. Kira is on Pokemon Go. And that's when we realize the event space for this is situated right between like 4 Pokestops and 2 gyms. And there's some kind of raid event going on for that particular day or couple of days. So, while we're waiting, Kira initiates a raid. I end up joining, but as the raid starts, it's Kira's turn to go up on stage. So, while she is going on stage and saying her brief hello to everybody,
Tell me what you need.
I am backstage with like this crate of equipment that's closed, and I have my phone on top of it and Kira's phone on top of it, and I'm doing the raid with 2 groups of Pokemon at the same time. And then Casey also ends up doing their intro, and not everyone is going to get this, but the right people will get it, because Casey, goes up on stage, and the first things out of their mouth are,
"Hi everybody, it's me."
and then they just did something brief after that, but the important thing is that they said that. So, that is exactly the reaction I was hoping for. Thank you. So, there's not a whole lot of time between the opening ceremonies and the first autograph session. And I actually kind of like how Zenkaikon did their autographs. Basically, they have this whole separate line section where people line up and wait. And then, according to who they want to get autographs from, they are gradually let into the space and then wait in... I say wait in another line in front of the table for the person they want an autograph from. But the second line is only like 8 feet long. So they heavily meter it, and it makes it a little more manageable for the people running the tables. But because I'd never been to this con, Casey and Kira had never been to this con, we didn't really know what to expect as far as A, attendance, and B, how many people would bother wanting to get stuff signed. Yeah, so it's not exactly like Colossal Con with the tickets. They do bother checking, like, who you're there to get autographs from, and if you're just there for one person or 2 people at the time, they'll let you through a little faster than, say, someone else who wants to see like 4 or 5 different people.
On your word. Orders.
Oh, right. Shit.
Yes?
Command me. On your word. Aye?
Oh, I wish I had a ranged attack. So, day 1, autographs-wise, is usually not too intense, particularly when it's a signing that's happening like right after the opening ceremonies. But it was a near constant flow of people for Friday, regardless of the time of day. Like day 1, not only did a lot of fans show up to get shit signed, but there were a bunch of people who were just giving Casey stuff, which was cool. Various drawings, sticker prints. There was one person who had like the pumpkin with a face on it from Dungeon Meshi. Not the one that had the top of its head off. The top of the head was still on. There were 3 fans in particular that really stood out. They like... One of them does pottery and made this like really cool looking like small bowl/pot with a Chilchuck image inside of it. And one of them also had like a small framed art piece that they made. They had a bunch of bracelets. They were really nice and really cool the entire weekend. And for the entire weekend, there weren't really any like problem-causing fans for autographs. And I mean like intentionally or unintentionally causing problems. Which was pretty damn refreshing.
Orders. Ready. Down the hatch.
On your word.
I'm just gonna do this.
Ready.
Okay, he doesn't have that now. How am I liking Wilds? Now that I'm actually at the fun part, I'm liking it a lot more. So, there's something else this con did was they didn't just give you like an 8-hour block and say sign during this. They actually broke it up into like hour and a half, 2-hour chunks where they allow time for the people signing to take breaks, walk around a little bit, see what the con is actually about, which was very refreshing and very appreciated. So, for the first break on Friday, we start walking around, and I am specifically looking for Monster Hunter stuff. Because I want to see, like, if any, like, vendors have decided to shift their stock according to how popular Monster Hunter is now versus where it was, say, with World. And, I wasn't expecting any stuff for Monster Hunter Wilds, and there wasn't any. But I wasn't expecting there to be. However, I did notice that more vendors are starting to carry not just those little rando boxes for Monster Hunter figures, but also like the 12-inch figures. And those things are stupid expensive. I saw one that was going for $260. Oh, that's another thing. This convention thought you know what? We want these people signing autographs to have, like, a space they can go to take a break. So, within about 20 feet of where the signing space was, they created a break room. A place where anyone who's signing or helping with the signing can just go in the back, kick back a little bit, have some snacks, get some coffee, do whatever. And that, once, like, people realized that was there, it started getting used a lot. So the signings pass by. Casey has to break from them because there is a Dungeon Meshi panel happening, and Casey and Sungwon are the ones who are at the head of it. Now, Casey has not read Dungeon Meshi, and as such, only knows about Dungeon Meshi whatever they saw in their script. Compare that to Sungwon, who has, as far as I know, read the entire or almost the entire series, and is a major fan of it and extremely knowledgeable of it. This panel they're doing together is basically the first extended time they've had having any sort of conversation with each other outside of the pleasantries in the green room. And I think Casey said that Sungwon carried that panel, but overall people really seemed to like it, and it was packed. I can't remember what the exact size was for the room, but I want to say there was like 200 people in that panel. Every single seat was filled. So after the panel, there's a little bit of time, and that time ends up being used... Oh, wait.
Ready?
Yeah?
Yes? Speak.
And that time ends up being used so that Casey can wander around the dealer space a little bit more. Specifically, both of us are asking, where are the video games? Now, this convention has, instead of a separate, distinct dealer's room, artist alley space, etc., they have one big exhibit hall where it's like... It was as if it was like vendors in the middle, and then artists were flanking them on either side. I don't know if that was the plan for their setup, but that's what it seemed like was going on. So we're wandering around. We do find a few video game vendors. And I gravitate toward this one because I notice they have a bin of controllers.
Here.
Now, most of my controllers are in okay shape, but there are a couple consoles that I wouldn't mind having a decent spare for. PS2 and N64. For the PS2 in particular, I've been using my wife's controller for a while. Because my other one, some of the buttons were going bad, and it was just becoming really hard to play anything with them. And I did find a decent PS2 controller. Only problem is, my wife's controller is silver, this controller is silver. So, I made sure that I could tell the difference between them. And something else I got was an N64 controller. A green N64 controller. I actually have a green N64 controller already, but the stick on it is starting to get extremely loose. So I figured I should just have another one. And by the way, these are both like original manufacturer controllers. They're not third-party controllers. And they're still in surprisingly good shape and pretty clean. Also, while I was there, I mentioned the Monster Hunter Rando boxes. I was specifically checking to see if there were any at the convention that, like, I didn't already buy a few of. And I found this one line that had rando figures for Monster Hunter Rise. So I figured, you know what? I'm going to get a couple of these and see what happens. So, the first box I open, it's, what is the name of it? The platypus thing. Tetranodon? Something like that? And then I open the second one, and it is Wind Serpent Ibushi, which I am very happy about. Now I just need to get more of those to see if I can get Narwa. And then we can basically have the Alan Peg Bundy of Monster Hunter Rise. Although, actually, my wife and I discussed this, and we decided they can be like the Homer and Marge Simpson of Monster Hunter. Also, while I was there, I found... what was I going to say? Oh, yeah. Also, while I was there, I found a vendor who was just selling a shit ton of CDs.
Tell me.
And they had this entire section that was marked Eurobeat. I send a photo of this to my wife, who is really into Initial D and Eurobeat. And I just get a message back from her saying, "Buy!" And she specifically says 2 albums. One of them was front and center in the shot, so she probably knew that that one was one she could safely name. And then named another one, and the vendor had both of them. So I picked those up for her. And I also found this vendor elsewhere in Artist Alley who was selling some Initial D-based stuff. So I got this little key charm of a Unos Roadster for her. Also, while at the same vendor that was selling the controllers,
Hi, on your word.
I noticed that Casey is specifically looking for certain releases of Tony Hawk games.
What should I do?
Casey goes through the N64 section, sees a yellow cartridge, pulls it up. It's Pro Skater 2 for the N64. Casey holds this card out to me and says, "Do you already have this?" And the words left my mouth before I could realize where this was going, because I should have said no. No, I should have said, yes, I already have it. But instead I said no. And Casey says, "Alright, fuck it, I'll get it for you." Which is the first of several points that weekend where I shook my fist and said, "Mangelo!" So the rest of the evening is relatively uneventful. Going back to Silent Algorath for like an hour, hour and a half. And then we're done for the day. We head back to the room and get the PS2 going. Now, when I was going back and forth with Casey about what to bring to this event, they mentioned they were bringing their PS2 so I could bring PS2 games for it. And I made a few suggestions, including one that I was calling Redacted. And I was calling it Redacted because I wanted to surprise them with this. So we get back to the room, and the first thing I put in for PS2 is the original Monster Hunter.
Command me.
So I do this, and Casey's like completely on board with trying this. They make their hunter. They like, one of the first things they comment on is, "Wow, they actually just let you start the game compared to Wilds." Now, I will say, the demonstration was rather brief, so we didn't get much into combat. However, Casey was on board with the presentation of it, particularly commenting how much more colorful it and some of the other Monster Hunters are than Wilds. Because I also showed them Generations Ultimate and Rise before this. At that point, we just started playing whatever. I threw in Rez for a little bit, and then looked up the developer of Rez and was really depressed at how short the lifespan of the developer for that game was. Then Casey says, I know what we can put in. And they put in Disney Skate Adventure. Extreme Skate Adventure, I think it's called. And, it's a game.
Tell me.
It is most definitely a game. One where I nearly fell through the world as Nala. And a game where I was able to get the camera to clip inside the head of the child skater and get some pretty terrifying faces. And as we're listening to the soundtrack, I'm thinking in my head, okay, so this is basically like a Pro Skater 4 mod masquerading as a Disney game. So which of the songs on the soundtrack is the Toy Dolls Dig That Groove Baby, I will never listen to this song again of this game? And I settled upon this song by an artist simply credited as Simon and Milo. And I had never heard of Simon and Milo, so I just asked, who the fuck is Simon and Milo? And then that led me to look at the Wikipedia article for Simon and Milo, aka Prozac. At which point I was greeted by some, I don't know how else to describe it, but deviant art-y pictures of Simon and Milo, as well as the lore of Simon and Milo. Which I shall now read. In the Prozac story video, Simon and Milo are over 200 years old and were enemies in a previous life. Simon and Milo fought each other in a 20-year-old war called Ochiaki. During their battle with each other, a great unseen voice projected down from the sky and told them they were to be best friends, sent through time to the 21st century, where they were given a mission. The mission was for the two to find true love through their music. And here's another thing only my friends will understand. In the back of my mind, there's a voice yelling, Amy Rose! It was also around that time, because my brain was just so broken, that I said, fuck this, I'm introducing you to Bev and Bob Karaoke. And they refuse to believe that's real. I don't know if it's real. I just prefer it to be real because I know people who are actually that tone deaf and that off rhythm when they try to sing. I showed them like their Bring Me to Life karaoke. I showed the 3 clones of Bob doing Fight for Your Right to Party.
Yeah?
I think I should actually fight the monster at some point, huh?
On your word. Ready?
No, Tiger. That is someone entirely different.
Yep.
Here.
Alright, so that's pretty much all of note that happened Friday. Did I ever show you a video that Bev and Bob supposedly made for this kid's bar mitzvah? No, you did not. And now, I am both curious, but my mind is screaming at me to not inquire any further.
Ready.
Yeah? Ready.
I'm gonna make you like an anvil.
Okay, so Saturday, we have to wake up a little earlier because the signings start earlier in the day. Before that happens, though, I need to explain that there's a pretty significant modding community for the Tony Hawk games, and there is an American Wasteland-based mod called Rethawed. And before the responsibilities with the convention happen, Casey meets the guy behind the Rethawed mod at the hotel. And they have a really long, really interesting talk about the game, the modding of it, modding of other Tony Hawk games, and Neversoft. Because this guy knew some people with Neversoft, and he gives Casey like these Neversoft stickers, a Neversoft eye, and this mini DV that has the E3 video for Tony Hawk's Underground on it. Who knows how he got that shit, but damn. So once that happens, and like I wish they could have just kept talking for as long as they wanted, because the conversation was really interesting. But Casey did have to go and sign autographs, and at one point we realized that there's like a couple of staples sticking out of the table that are like getting caught on people's clothes. So we wind up getting a staffer over who's just like, fuck it, I'm just gonna rip the staples out of the table. So he does that and leaves. And then after a little bit, we realize someone left a phone on our like signing table, and we don't know whose it is. So other handler, who was, I think his name was Matt,
You're what?
we get him the phone and tell him, like, if someone comes asking for a phone that was left at our table, this is it. And as it turned out, the staffer who ripped the staples out of the table, he just left his phone at our table. But you know what? I'm glad that it was a staffer and not an attendee. Because the staffer was easier to track down. There are like a couple hundred staffers versus thousands of attendees. So, thankfully, prices were diverted pretty quickly on that. And then there was another break in the autographs because Casey and Kira were doing a JoJo panel. Because both of them voiced prominent characters in Stone Ocean, I think it's part 6. And Kira had been doing JoJo panels before she was ever cast as Jolene in part 6. So she's like the super knowledgeable one that's been doing these panels for a while. And like more. It's in the same panel room as the Dungeon Meshi panel, and over half of the room is filled. So pretty good turnout for that as well. They do their thing with that. We go back to the signings, and like 5 to 10 minutes in, I get distracted because from where the table is set up, you can still see part of like the artist booths just beyond the barrier separating them from the autograph space. And there is like this really good, at least from where I was sitting, Pimpbot Bender from Futurama that is just milling around the space talking to people. So that distracted me from what I was supposed to be doing for a couple minutes until he wandered off. It's also around this time I realized, now, I have Square on my phone, which is the app that's used to process transactions related to this particular event. And, 1 second. Okay.
Yes?
So it's pretty important that my phone be up and running throughout the duration of the autograph signings, but I realize my phone is dying. Which I say, that's fine. I have a power bank that I take with me for events like these. And it was fully charged. But I don't have a cable to link it to my phone. So I'm thinking, oh shit, I'm gonna have to run back upstairs and
Command me.
get my charge cable and then come back down, and it'll just be this big waste of time. However, there's another staffer who is watching over Kira's table. I think his name was Tim. And he was like, I actually have the cable you need, and you can just use it for as long as you need it. So, shout out to Tim for saving my ass for Saturday's autograph signings. So I think, well, that is the worst possible thing that could have happened, and now Saturday is going to go off without a hitch.
Tell me what you need.
Then the fire alarm went off.
Orders. Darkness till
And as this is a convention, the fire alarm goes off, and the reaction of everyone is to just kind of turn in the general direction of the nearest blinking light attached to an alarm and go, huh. Anyway. So we're all just figuring someone pulled the alarm. This is just whatever. But someone does announce that the fire alarm is going off and we all need to evacuate. So, the guests and staffers and handlers evacuate out this one set of doors, and all the attendees in our area evacuate through this other set of doors that was really close by. And, I don't know if this was something they thought of in advance as a just-in-case thing, or if it's something they thought of on the fly. But because they didn't know how long everyone was going to be outside, and it was a bit chilly that day, particularly if you're someone who flew in from California for the event, they had a van nearby that had already heated up, so if guests wanted to wait it out in the van, they could. Not me, though. I was perfectly fine. And, Casey was wearing this orange jacket that made them look like Kenny from South Park the entire weekend. So they were good on that front, too. Eventually, we get indications that, we might be able to start going back in. So, people start going back in. We're setting back up at the table. We're ready to go. There's actually someone in line who I think was actually a vendor or another person who was signing for something else. But eventually, we get another announcement saying, no, we didn't get the official all clear. We have to evacuate again. So we evacuate again.
Tell me.
On your word.
Here.
I.
So we do eventually get the official all clear to go back in. And the way the convention does this is they say, the guests, the staffers, and the vendors all go in first. The attendees have to wait at least a few minutes because they don't want to risk like an attendee going in before everyone else, snatching something from someone's booth, and then they're SOL. Which, I understand that, but I still kind of felt bad for the attendees having to wait outside for longer than everyone else while everyone else got set up.
Ready.
Now, the important thing to note here is that eventually, everything goes back to normal. There was a scheduled break for the autograph signing that was happening at the time, but because of the time lost from the fire drill, a lot of the people who were signing just decided, well, I'm just going to keep signing through the break that was scheduled for me to make up for all the time that I missed. Not just because it benefits them, but also because if there were any fans who were in line and like there was a chance that they were further back in the line and they would have run out of time to get an autograph from someone, then, well, you know. And I can't remember if it was in this stretch or in the stretch that happened later, but remember the Marcel in the elevator? The one that didn't really respond to Casey doing a Chilchuck-like voice behind them? They were in a different cosplay, but they did show up in the autograph line. And they actually mentioned that once they got off the elevator, the friend that they were with said, I think that was actually Chilchuck. And they were like, oh, I didn't want to seem rude or seem like I was ignoring you. And like, they realized what was going on. And, like, no one took it to mean anything, like, negative either way. It was just a little bit of fun. I should also note what I was wearing during this particular day of the convention, because I have some things that I wear at cons that I don't wear as much just in my regular day-to-day life. It's become a con staple that I wear this one Salad Fingers shirt, which is just a green shirt with a giant print of his face on the front of it. And there were like a dozen people who commented on it. I think that's the most comments I've ever had on that shirt at a single event, much less in a single day. And it was also at this event on this particular day that, like, I usually don't take a whole lot of cosplay photos unless I think something is, like, extraordinarily noteworthy. But there was one person at this event that I did take a photo of, and it's not even for a show that I watch. There was an Ed, and Eddie cosplayer there, which is a show I don't think I've ever actually watched. I may have caught like a minute or two of it here and there, but I never sat down and watched any episodes of it. But I do know people who have watched Ed, Edd and Eddy and really like it. And even just from like vicarious knowledge of it, I could appreciate what was going on with this cosplayer. And it's at this point I should also note that one of the vendors in the dealer space was selling pins, and one of the pins was Plank. And I did make sure to tell this Double D cosplayer about that.
Yeah?
Aye.
Yes?
Ready? Puss.
I gotta make sure I have these guys meditate, because I'm gonna need it for this fight.
Orders?
Uh-huh.
Oh, what a crit! The stack of poison is so high, I can't read the number for it. I think that says 38.
Tell me.
On your word.
Now we're talking.
Speak.
Orders?
Ready.
Am I supposed to be doing something?
Away! Chili Cavour!
Alright, well that is going to make things a lot more difficult.
Fuss Kalanish. Inye den stien.
On your word.
So the time comes where we shut down for the day, and we're leaving the exhibit hall, and right outside the exhibit hall is a person in a mimic costume. The significance of that, of course, is Casey voices Chilchuck in Dungeon Meshi, and Chilchuck has a number of run-ins with mimics, and as such, absolutely hates them. Now, what makes this a little tough to read sometimes is that there is another anime out there which has a recurring gimmick of a character getting tricked by mimics. So it can sometimes, those references will cross over with each other. And I think that that mimic was a reference to that other anime, which the name of it I can never remember. But anyway, we all pack it in for the day. We end up getting some Wawas, and also end up playing Apocalypse starring Bruce Willis for the PS1. Now, the significance of that is it's a Neversoft game.
What should I do? Ready.
And Neversoft would use that, well, not necessarily that whole game, but the engine of that as the basis for Tony Hawk's Pro Skater. And I didn't realize this, but Casey filled me in on it. Apparently somewhere out there was the initial test model for what the appearance of the skater on a skateboard would look like, and the skater is just a model of Bruce Willis. Don't know if he was holding the gun or not. I assume he was. But now I really want to see that.
Ready?
Here. God, mine.
Oh, that is so annoying.
On your word. Down the hatch. Command me. What should I do?
See, they're terrified, so their action points are basically doubled what they would be normally. Oh, damn it.
Speak.
Oh, this isn't gonna be enough.
Yeah?
Aye.
I need to start doing serious damage to this thing.
I?
I might not win this fight at this rate. There's just too many mana pools active on the field.
Here.
On your word. God, mine.
Aye.
Yes?
Here.
Uh-huh. Cheers.
Anyway, moving on to Sunday. We wake up a little earlier than usual, so we end up doing what we usually do in that situation, which is play more video games. Now, I brought along a game called Rallycross for the PS1. It's an off-road rally racing type of game. But it's not exactly your typical kind of racing game. For one, your car can flip over. And in fact, there are controls in the game for making your car rock back and forth to right itself, which you end up using a lot because the vehicles in this game are extremely top-heavy. And many of the courses are designed to increase the risk of you flipping your car over.
Ready?
Ready. Speak.
Yes?
So the point of this is, I was showing it to Casey, and Casey was struggling with it a little bit. Understandably so, because like a lot of the things you get used to with other racing games are not present in that game. However, the game does let you restart unlimited times for races, so it has that going for it. Even when I was trying to get back into the swing of things with it, I was struggling pretty hard. Like, there are 4 cars racing at any particular time, and there were some courses I was struggling to get third. But eventually I said, you know what, fuck it, I'm gonna load up my memory card data, which I don't think I've actually seriously played Rallycross since the late 90s. And I could tell that it was a very late 90s save file that I loaded up from myself, because the file name was asswipe. And I'm pretty sure I know what that is a reference to. It's a reference to a Mad TV skit. And no, it's not El Aso Wipo. It's a reference to a skit where Michael McDonald is just being called an asswipe by everybody for no particularly good reason.
Speak.
Ready?
Ready.
Speak.
On your word.
Okay, well, I guess we'll at least see what happens when the monobar is filled. Probably absolute murder.
Uh-huh.
Yes?
Tell me. Orga, lend me your armor.
Ready? I suppose.
Yeah? Ready.
Oh, I hope she doesn't get hit.
On your word.
Power fills me.
Commands.
Yep, the screen is just filled with monototems now. So anyway, the point is, I'm playing Rallycross, I load up my old save, and I realized that my last save was on the very last race of a season mode. And it's on this one track, which is relatively short, but it's a figure 8 track. So the courses cross over with each other, meaning cars can crash into each other much more easily. So I say, you know what? I'm gonna challenge myself. I'm gonna see if I can actually finish this fucking thing.
God, mine.
So I'm trying to do this, and it's not going particularly well, but I am starting to, like, gradually learn how the course operates. And I'm getting slightly better each time. And I think Casey's just convinced that I'm not going to pull this off, and just wanders into the bathroom to get ready for the rest of the day. But I stick with it, and I eventually win that last race. And I was pretty sure Casey wasn't going to believe me, so when you finish a race in that game, the replay of the race automatically plays again. So I just left the replay playing to show that, yes, I did in fact finish season mode. Asswipe is champion. So, we end up heading down,
Ready.
and hold on. And we hear through the grapevine what might have been the cause for the fire alarms going off. Basically, in the hotel attached to the convention center was a big laundry space. And apparently there was a dryer in there that overheated and caused some lint to start smoking. And they think that's what caused the fire alarms to go off. I don't know if that's true or not, but if it is, fuck.
Aye?
Tell me what you need.
Ready?
Let's see, which should I do?
Yeah?
You were hotboxing in the dryer. Of course you were.
Bottoms up.
I expect no less from you.
Here.
Orders.
Alright, so 149, that's my target.
Yes? In yeah, die care, den Stier.
So we are setting up for the final day. And we're realizing something about Casey's stock of prints. i.e., some of them are just selling out. Casey had, let's see, the Floofty Fizzlebean prints for Bug Snacks. Admittedly, there weren't many of those, but those sold out. The Hollow prints for the Nahobino from Shin Megami Tensei 5 sold out. A set of other Shinji prints sold out. And the Chill Chuck prints, 2 different versions of them, were both selling out. So, what they wound up doing was, we combed through Artist Alley looking for artists that had Chill Chuck prints and would be open to us buying them and then using them at the table for autograph signings. While promoting, like, who the artist was, obviously. And they did find this one artist who was selling a couple different sizes of a Chill Chuck print. And, we're in such a rush that we weren't really paying attention to what was going on in the print itself. So, this guy, Andrew, who works with Casey for a lot of these events, comes back with these Chill Chuck prints from this artist and says, "Here, I have your very fan-servicey Chill Chuck prints." And both Casey and I are kind of like, what does he mean by that? And then we take a look at the print, and we realize it's Chill Chuck sitting on the ground, kind of leaning back with his shirt half open, and his feet very prominently in the foreground. And then we went, oh. Oh. Huh. Well, I mean, it wasn't like anything over the top bad or anything like that. It was just like, if we weren't in a rush, we probably would have noticed it. But I mean, it's relatively tame by convention standards, but we just sort of rolled with it. And we did end up selling a few of those before the day was over. No, that was not the one that sold the most. The original ones, like 2 different versions of the original ones, completely sold out. So we got those just to cover for the last day.
do?
Now, usually, Sunday is the least busy day. Obviously, because that's the day people are, like, packing up and heading home. But I don't know what it is about Zenkaikon, but people just kept showing up. Like, past when hotel checkout would be, leading up to when the exhibit space was starting to close down. And it just didn't stop. And the people who were there just kept signing through the scheduled 1-hour break just to make sure that they got everyone in. It was in the process of doing this that this one person showed up with this massive, like, wall scroll print thing. I can't remember if it was canvas or not, of Evangelion. Like, when he rolled it out, it took up, like, the majority of the autograph table. So, Casey breaks out one of the markers and is trying to sign this. But a few seconds after they write something down, it fades from view. So they're thinking, oh, geez, what do I do here? So they borrow this white paint marker, and they start going over it again. It fades a little bit, but they go over it twice, just to make sure that everything shows up and it's not going to end up fading completely after like an hour or something. So they're like, okay, that took a little effort, but we finally got this sign. Dude picks the scroll thing up from the table, and we realize that in the process of doing that, Casey also autographed the autograph table. I mean, it was the cover of the table, which was just going to get tossed out later, but still, oops. And, like, even though it had dried pretty completely, we still had, like, a piece of paper covering that up for the rest of the signing, just to make sure that it didn't get on anything else.
Ready?
Okay, he can still attack, which is good.
On your word.
On your word.
Aye?
Yes, good crit.
Yes?
Now, I was also in the process of doing these Sunday autographs that, there was a person who came up with this little acrylic key charm thing. And, it was a charm of a character, I think his name is Ak, from Arknights, which is someone that Casey voices. And, the attendee said that they got it from one of the vendors at the con, and they told us the name of it. And we said, alright, well, once the signing is done, we'll have about half hour or so in which to close down and then go try and find that artist and see if we can get that Ak key charm for Casey. So eventually, people do stop showing up for autographs, and we do close down. And I think we have like 15-20 minutes in which to try and track down this vendor.
Am I supposed to be doing something?
Yes, you are.
Ready. Aye.
Tell me.
On your word. Uh-huh.
Orders.
Yes?
Speak.
Ready?
Yeah? Yes? What should I do?
Hang on.
Here.
Here.
Yes?
Aha.
Yep.
Ready.
I'll have her meditate.
Chilling war.
One more strike.
Yeah, so that annihilated the team. Alright. Now that I actually know this thing's abilities, let's see if I can game plan for this a little better. So we're going through the dealer space, and we're trying to figure out where this keychain, key charm, whatever thing might be. And we're trying to remember the name of the vendor, because we couldn't really remember that. And we bump into the person who had that thing at the autograph table, and they said, the vendor of that is right over there, and points down toward another row of tables. And we're like, okay, and we head in that direction, and we're not seeing, like, we're just looking for booths that have, like, little charms or keychains set up, and trying to see which one kind of matches the style of the one that we saw, and we aren't having much luck. We're starting to check around the perimeter of where that person was pointing, and still not finding much of anything. And the whole time this is going on, we're basically getting a countdown
What can I do?
for how much time is left before the dealer's room closes. And it is as that is going on that we realize we only have maybe a couple minutes left before, like, the room shuts down and we're just SOL. I think Casey and I are both starting to feel like we might just not find this person. Because the person who got that sign said, like, they knew, the person who got it signed knew that Casey voiced Ogg in Arknight, and they told the vendor about that. And the vendor was like, oh sure, send them here if you have the chance. Or if they have the chance. So there's like a minute left before the room closes down. And then I just look, like, over my shoulder at one of the rows of artists that hasn't packed up early. And I see the name of the vendor, and I go, like, it's a eureka moment where I'm like, Casey, that's it. That's the name that they mentioned. And they were selling these little key charm things. So we both go over to this, and I don't really know Arknights well at all. But I sort of remember what the charm looked like. And I'm frantically looking through the keychains as I hear this voice going, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And as he's doing that, I go, oh shit, that's it. And I point to this one charm, and it is in fact Ogg from Arknights. We found it, and we found the vendor at the last possible moment. So Casey's like, oh shit, and winds up getting the one of the Ogg charms from this guy, and he's just super glad that Casey was able to find and stop by the booth. Granted, we made that a little harder than we had to by not remembering the name of the artist at first, but we got there. We did it, and then the dealer space started shutting down. And it was as this space was shutting down that something bizarre happened. So I'm doing what I usually do for these cons, which is I'm wearing a hat that says shirt. I got it in, I think, 2017 from these group of guys called the NerdFit Network. And I also got a shirt that just says, "Fuck Glenn Dubois" on it, which I think I wore once in a Strumming the Bassline video. But that's also from the same people. Sorry, I'm lost in thought. Now, I'm telling you that to tell you that I was wearing that same shirt hat as we're making our way toward the exit of the dealer space. And there's this one guy there who says, like, he comments on my hat. Many people comment on my hat. Many people... fuck. I have to keep my thoughts straight. So as we're exiting the dealer space, there's this guy that we cross paths with. And there had been a number of people who commented on my hat. And the conversation always goes, "Nice hat." To which I say, "You mean my shirt?" "Oh, yeah." That happened several times throughout the weekend. But this guy sees my hat and he goes, "Oh, nice, that's a NerdFit Network hat." And I instantly lose my shit. Because it has been like 9 years since someone recognized what that hat is. And apparently this guy, like, he knew the guys at the NerdFit Network. He knew Eric and Glenn Dubois. So he knew about the "Fuck Glenn Dubois" shirt. And he also told me a couple other things, which is at some point they had a hat that said "Cap." And at some point they had a New Jersey Devils parody hockey jersey, which across the front just said "Jersey." And I have a new mission in life, which is to find that jersey. So after having my mind blown by that guy, we end up going back to the hotel room.
What do you need?
And we also end up playing a little bit of Rise and GU, but everyone's just in like crash mode. So a bunch of us just end up resting for like half hour. And eventually the time comes where I realize, yeah, I gotta leave while there is still daylight. So I somewhat regrettably pack up the car and I start making my way out. And the car is still driving okay. However, it's low on gas. So I get about 30-40 minutes out from Lancaster. And this time I'm taking the absolute shortest path back. I was kind of trying to avoid tolls on the way there, but this time I said, fuck it, straight shot, let's go. So that was like $30 in tolls. But I get to a point where I have to fuel up. So I take this one exit, I pull into a Sheetz, and fuel up my car. I have a full tank now. Put the pump back, put the gas cap back on, and as I'm tightening it, the top of the cap breaks off in my hand. I can't blame that on the car accident, but I can blame that on Murphy's Law. So, I'm not actually sure if I can, like, pry the rest of the gas cap out at this point. I'm just thinking, I am going to get as far as I possibly can on this one tank of gas, and then hopefully, if need be, I can get AAA to tow me the rest of the way. So, sort of like before, I start driving again and things are normal for a bit. And then the rain started. And it got worse, and worse, and worse. Also, even though I'm taking a different path, you still end up going through part of the Appalachias. So, the road goes up and down, it gets a little windy. There are semis on the road, which I'm even more wary of than I usually am at this point. And that lasts for like, I want to say, an hour and a half to 2 hours. Like, I'm already exhausted and frustrated and pissed off, and I just want to end up at home. But finally, as I'm approaching about, I want to say just past Pittsburgh, the rain finally starts letting up. And then once I cross over into West Virginia and then into Ohio, it stops completely. Why did I get hiccups now?
Yes?
So I keep going and going and going, and this car is being an absolute trooper, and it is going beyond what I usually push it miles-wise. But even so, I can tell that I'm not going to be able to make it all the way back home on that one tank of gas. Fortunately, so I have to explain this first, there is a highway loop that goes around Columbus called the 270 loop. So I figure if I can at least get close to that, then, well, actually, like, if I got within 50 miles of the 270 loop, I think I would have been okay to have AAA tow me the rest of the way home. But I wanted to at least try stopping at a gas station to see if I could get the rest of the gas cap loose and then fill it up again. So I make it to... I do make it inside the 270 loop, and then I go to... Oh, where was it? I can't remember where exactly inside the 270 loop was. It was on the east side of Columbus. But I pull into a gas station, and I use like this old paper towel to try and like dig into what's left of the gas cap and then pry it loose. And I do exactly that. I managed to pry it out from the hole and fill up the tank again. Well, I didn't completely fill the tank. I basically just gave myself enough to get home plus extra. And I wound up getting home at about 1 in the morning. And one of the first things I did when I got home was I hugged my wife. Sent a bunch of messages to everyone saying I made it home safely. And we'll figure out the car thing later. And then eventually I just conked out, and that was Zenkaikon. I'm gonna try using War Strike more this time around.
Eh?
You know what?
Coming through. Aye. Do.
I'm gonna try this arrangement.
Need something?
I don't like that that uses 2 of those points, though. Oh yeah, that is true, Blondie. When I got home from Zenkaikon, Blondie had been streaming Lost Odyssey for 5 or 6 hours. Also, I just headbutted the mic. You're welcome for that. And I did, in fact, tell him, just go to bed. You've been streaming enough, just go to bed. And I honestly can't remember if he did that before I did or not.
Do you need me?
Here. Bertie? Hmm?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Oh, I need more greater healing potions.
What do you need?
Aye.
Yes.
Eh? Yeah.
Oh, hello.
Aye.
What do you need?
Aye.
What do you need?
Did you want me?
I'm debating giving him the potion of focus as well. If I can remember where the hell it is.
Yes.
Okay, that's what it looks like. There it is.
You spoke?
did complete the side area you're in, but at the cost of staying up to Big Apple 3 a.m. times. Also, the time that one roll got up for work. Alright,
What can I do for you?
Aye?
I honestly don't know if I stand much better of a chance against this thing with my current setup or not,
What you need?
Eh?
Do you need me?
but we can give it the old college try.
Yeah?
Aye? Goodbye. For now.
This thing has a lower battle rating than the other giants I fought, and yet I'm having more trouble with it.
Aye.
Yes?
I already did something wrong. I'll give this one more try, and if it doesn't work out, whatever. I may just off-stream it.
Here.
What do you need?
Did you want me?
Do you need me? Darkness take me.
Puss Kelenish. Yes?
Slange. Command me. Ready?
Ready. Goodbye.
Aye.
For now.
Good steel, good arm, never lost yet.
Aye? On your word. What should I do?
Oh my god, the trow squeezins are gone. Fuck, it's always something.
God damn it!
Okay. We're fixing this shit right now. There. Fucking hell.
Yes. Darkness take me.
Puss Kelenish. What are we doing?
Slange.
Aye. Did you make that out of yourself?
Ready? Bottoms up. Here.
Okay, he's already got a stack of poison on him just from getting the drink thrown at him.
Me? I suppose.
Which means I can get away with doing this.
Yes. Goodbye. For now.
Yes?
Ready.
On your word.
Am I supposed to be doing something?
Speak.
Ready? I suppose. Fuskelenish.
Speak. What should I do?
That's good.
Okay.
You like this. Speak.
Fuskelenish. Am I supposed to be doing something?
Yes?
On your word. On your word.
Yes?
Command me.
What are we doing?
Ready.
Okay, we're going to do this.
Yes? Injedike Nenskier.
Yep.
Here.
Aye?
Hmm.
I?
Tell me what you need.
Uh-huh.
Orders?
Speak.
Speak.
Yeah? On your word.
Tell me.
On your word.
Cheers.
Hang on. Fuskelenish.
Command me.
Aye? I feel unstoppable. What should I do?
On your...
Fuskelenish. Ready? I suppose.
Okay.
Yeah?
Yeah? Ready.
Ready.
Yes? Injedike Nenskier.
Speak.
Yep.
Ready. Good to the last drop.
On your word. Second past. Away I go.
Yes.
Yes. Orders. Ready.
Here.
Orders.
On your word.
Yes.
Command me.
What are we doing? Who's killing it?
Here. God, mine. Uh-huh.
Tell me what you need.
Aye.
Now we're
Yes.
talking.
Hang on.
Yeah.
Here. Torga, lend me your armor.
Ready.
Nah, carry.
Ready.
Tell me.
That's no good.
Speak.
Yes? In Yedike, then steer.
Command me.
Ready?
Yes.
On your word.
Aye. What should I do? Down the hatch.
One of my casters being terrified does not help this at all.
Aye?
Ready.
Hang on.
Ready.
Ready.
Aye.
Good.
All right, he's stunned. Good.
Aye.
Yes?
Here.
Orders? Yes!
Tell me.
On your word. Speak. Yeah? Bottoms up.
Tell me what you need.
Ready!
Yep.
On your word.
What are we doing?
Speak!
Ready. On your word.
Ready!
Uh-huh.
Here.
Ready? I suppose.
Tell me.
Yes?
What should I do? Speak.
Stronger! Swifter!
Ready.
On your body! Aye? Goodbye. For now.
Oh, this is a huge risk.
Command me.
On your word.
Aye.
Aye? On your word. Ready. Down the hatch.
Orders?
Ready.
Tell me what you need.
Okay, good.
Speak.
Yep.
What should I do?
Am I supposed to be doing something?
Tell me.
Okay, so I don't need to do the armor rend anymore.
Here.
Speak.
Good crit.
Yes. I.
Power fills me.
Here.
Aye.
Uh-huh.
Tell me what you need.
Ready.
On your word.
Yes?
Hmm. Oh, his animation's died again.
I. Yes.
Yep. Love thicken my skin.
On your word. Yes. Yeah. Plunge.
Am I supposed to be doing something?
Speak.
Hmm.
On your word.
Here.
What should I do? Command me.
Orders.
Ready.
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 Tell me.
Uh-huh.
Speak.
Yep.
I.
Ready? I suppose. Fusskelenish.
On your word.
Not carry.
One more strike. Can.
Ah, it happened again. I thought the screen wasn't going to happen until one turn later. Ah, fuck.
God's mine. Yes. Mother! Give me strength! Command me.
What are we doing?
Speak! God's mine!
Yes?
I'm more or less just killing time until the monster kills me. Because I am losing the damage race.
I? Here. Speak! Ready.
Hang on. What are we doing?
Orders? Don't mind me. Yes? Pardon? Yeah?
Okay, the poison is still doing its thing.
Fuskelenish.
Ready.
Yes?
Here. God, mine.
Am I supposed to be doing something?
Ready.
Welcome to my exhibition in attempting to do more with less.
On your word. Please excuse. On your word.
Ready? I suppose. Fuskelenish.
Speak. Ready.
I could just do this and hope for the best.
Bark and bearskin thicken my hide. Coming through. Here.
Hang on.
On your word. Yeah?
Yes? Fuskelenish.
Ready.
Hang on. Injedike Nenskir.
Speak. God, mine.
This is giving me an idea of just how far I can get the damage down solely with magic.
Am I supposed to be doing something?
Command me.
Ready? I suppose. Oh dear. I think
Alright, I have an idea for this.
Here.
It seems like I should lean more into the magic. So... we'll put healing
Eh?
on 3 of these people, with the objective to simply keep them alive for longer. Alright, one more try. And also...
Eh? Behind
you here,
Hmm.
and you here.
Darkness take me.
This will not be easy.
Right.
Puskelenish.
Bottoms up.
Did you make that armor yourself?
Aye?
I just realized what it's saying when it does that. Who are you talking to?
Tell me what you need.
On your word.
Tell me.
Yes?
What should I do?
Here.
Ready. Down the hatch. Ready. On your word.
Now we're talking.
Yes? Yeah?
Yep. Cloud thicken my skin.
Orders?
Here.
What are we doing? Fuskelenish.
Uh-huh.
Ready.
Aye.
I think that says 12 for the poison stacks.
Fuskelenish.
Ready.
Tell me.
Orders? Goodbye for now.
Ready.
On your word.
Aye.
Yes?
What should I do?
Command me. Uh-huh. Slange.
Aye?
Yep.
Speak.
Tell me what you need.
Yeah? On your word. I feel unstoppable.
Speak.
Yes? On your word.
Uh-huh. Ready.
On your word.
stuff?
Yes?
Hang on. Fuskelenish.
Command me. What should I do?
Tell me what you need.
I? Speak.
Ready? I
On your
suppose.
word. Ready? I speak.
Fuskelenish. Yes? Inye dike denskiye.
Yes? God, mine. Ready.
Tell me. Come on, you tinkers!
Here. What should I do?
Speak.
On your word.
Ready.
Ready?
On your word.
Tell me.
Ready. Yeah? Good to the last drop.
What are we doing?
Uh-huh.
Yes?
Command me.
I supposed to be doing? Fuskelenish.
I? Make it stop!
Damn. All right.
Aye?
Fuskelenish.
Uh-huh.
Hmm.
Yes?
Yes?
Am I supposed to be doing something?
Damn. Bad luck on the crits.
On your word.
Here.
What should I do?
On your word.
Tell me what you need.
Hang on. Fuskelenish.
Aye.
Speak. Ready?
Ready.
Yeah? Here. Ready?
That's good.
Command me.
Ready? I suppose.
Hmm.
Speak.
Okay, good crit. Still got a long way to go, though.
Ready.
Yes?
Speak.
Shit.
Yeah?
Here.
I don't know what the hell he's thinking. I don't know what the hell he's thinking. I don't know what the hell he's thinking.
Hello, Nightman. Thank you for the raid with a party of 4. This is a really, really hard fight. I already went over all the Zenkaikon stuff, but if you have any questions, feel free to ask.
What are we doing?
Ready.
How is my car doing? Well, even after the accident, it was still able to drive 200 miles-ish to the event, and then 400 miles-ish back to my home. So we're thinking that there's probably not frame damage, which would be the worst thing that could happen. And haven't really noticed any leaking from any important internals like power steering fluid, oil, gas, that sort of thing. There's basically a cracked windshield wiper fluid container. That's all we know about so far. Also, some damage to one of the headlights where the wires got ripped out of the plug.
Ready? I suppose.
Command me. Uh-huh. On your word. On your word. Plunge.
Am I supposed to be doing something?
Here.
Aye. Away I
Right, you made it out okay. Yeah, I was getting... Word must have spread fast at the con, but, I found myself explaining to, like, other staffers and even other guests, what happened with me on the way to the con. If I remember correctly, like, even ProZD, aka Someone Show, I wound up saying this to at one point.
Yeah?
What should I do?
Tell me
Oh god, this is a hard fight.
On your word.
Or I'm just going about it all wrong.
Uh-huh. On your word. Ready.
Hang on.
Is that a Casey Mongelo in the chat? I believe that is a Casey Mongelo in the chat.
Speak.
Sorry about your bumpy ride home. For what it's worth, mine was crappy too.
Tell me.
Aye.
Crazy bumpy, and they slammed down so hard on the landing everyone screamed. Wow. Can't say I've had a flight quite like that before. Also, Automod held the message, but Casey, I just want you to know, Tiger says it smells kind of gay in here.
Yep.
Orders.
Ready.
Yeah.
On your word.
Damn it, Automod. Yeah, the Guy, not the French. Just say that from now on because I can't stop Automod from blocking the other thing.
Ready.
Yes? Puskelenish.
Speak.
Oh god, this is already going badly.
Yeah?
Yes.
Orders?
Aye.
What should I do?
Alright. Here's what I think I'll do.
Yes.
On your word.
Aye.
Ready.
Okay. Who let the cat shit in the chat? Why does it smell like cat shit in here? You know what, Tiger? We should send Automod to the penis explosion chamber and have his penis exploded immediately.
Yes?
Ready.
What are we doing?
Okay, they're already meditating.
Hang on.
Here.
Let them meditate now.
Tell me.
Uh-huh.
Ready.
Aye.
Ready.
We need a new downstairs bathroom rug. Really? Chucky!
On your word. Orders?
Speak.
Yep.
Aye.
Oh, this is really gonna hurt either way.
Tell me what you need. Coming through.
Sorry, Bard.
Night.
Puskelenish. フスケレネッシュ 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 Puskelenish. フスケレ
る温度かけて
Don't mind me.
On your word.
Speak.
Orders.
Aye.
There's at least some healing left, so there's that.
On your word.
Yes? In yeah, decay, then spear.
Oh, we got a crit on that? Damn.
Command me.
Yes?
Yes? God, mine. Ready. Walk away and you won't get hurt.
She's more spongy than the dwarf, so this probably isn't going to end well.
Ready.
Am I supposed to be doing something?
Casey said the line.
Dickety-dee.
Puskalanish.
On your word.
Yeah, if this doesn't work, I'll just have to do a complete equipment do-over for this fight. Because I know that the Howl is coming up, and they are right in the line of fire for that. She's probably not going to survive this.
On your word.
What are we doing?
Here.
Ready.
Orders.
Brace for impact.
Give me strength.
Going to make it.
They're all dead now. Basically, unless I can have two characters do 1,400 damage in 2 turns, we're fucked.
Puskalanish.
Which, spoiler,
Yes?
that will not happen.
In yeah, decay, then spear.
Speak. God, mine.
I supposed to be doing something? Yes?
Here.
What are we doing? Puskelenish.
He's just gonna walk over and smash him.
Puskelenish. I beg your pardon. Ready? I suppose. In yer ikke, den stier.
Speak. God, mine.
Hang on. Puskelenish.
Mind me.
I'm gonna have to come back to this later, but I know there is one thing you can do in this game to basically stack action points almost indefinitely. And I may end up doing that off stream. God, nothing on the crits. Well, time to die.
Well, that's me done.
Okay, I just need to make sure that I have the items I need for this. There's a particular pennant and a pair of boots that you need for it. And I don't know if I have both.
Hmm?
Right?
How am I, Craig Zero? Still very tired. Probably too tired for this, quite honestly. I don't think I have it. But I know where I could get it if I wanted to. I may just do that another day, though, because I have quite a bit of work set up for tomorrow. We at least got through the Zenkaikon recap. Yeah, I do not see it here.
Aye?
What can I do for you?
What do you need?
What can I do?
Oh, hello.
Yep, and no one has it equipped. Wait, why do I still have this? Actually, wait. I think I still have that because... Yeah, I was going to do something bard related with that later, but... let's see, beyond that... Tambourine, no. Disguise kit, no. Yep, it is not here. I will have to go and buy that from a vendor later. But if I do that,
What do you need?
she might just end up stealing it anyway. So, I think that'll actually do it for me tonight. Have a good night, One Roll. Hope your flight to France goes all right. Let me see what else is going on. Oh, I will try to do Gamefly later this week. But for now, I see Lone Man Kane is playing Tom Clancy's Splinter Cell. So, let's raid him. We haven't raided Kane in a while. So, thanks for hanging out for a bit, guys. And I will see you at the next one. Take care.